Hi, good evening. And in this particular ZP FoodSense webinar, I'm actually going to talk about testing the hotness of chili powders. So at ZP, we can test hot sauces, chili flakes, chilies themselves, chili sauces, which are quite straightforward, but then also things like chili powders. And chili powders are a little bit more complicated because you're trying to extract something from the solid phase into the liquid phase. Anyway, enough speaking, and I'll give you some slides on this now. Just to say that I am talking about the FoodSense Generation 4. I've got the FoodSense Generation 4 in front of me here. This is the FoodSense. This is one of the chili sensors. I do have a sample of a chili sauce here, and I'll do a quick demo at the end just to kind of put some context into everything I'm actually talking about. The FoodSense Generation 4 is driven by an app that you can download off the Apple Store or the Android Store. And it's a Bluetooth connection, and this drives that. This gives the data to that, and then I'll get the result on my phone later on anyway. That said, let me go forward with the main points. So if you are a FoodSense Generation 4 tester, you will get personal online training. We do weekly webinars. Hi, here's a weekly webinar. And we also do monthly webinars as well. There's one on, I think, the 10th of July. If you click the link underneath the video, it'll take you to the next upcoming webinar. So as I say, yeah, there is one on the 10th of July. We tend to do two webinars on the day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, because of our time zone. That kind of means that we can cover Asia in the morning, and we can cover America, for example, in the afternoon. So obviously Europe is easy because they can come to mornings or afternoons. So anyway, we do have two webinars on the 10th of July. If you want to see an extended live demo, please come to that. This week we're going to talk about testing chili powder. So with chili powder, there's a much more preparation. Well, not much. That's overplaying it a bit, but there is more preparation than we would normally do. So I will talk about that now. So what we're doing when we're preparing a chili powder, come to one of the monthly webinars, because actually this FoodSense Generation 4 on the app, it does allow you to have lots of options, whether you do what's called a 1 in 10 dilution, a 1 in 100 dilution, a 1 in 1000 dilution, or 1 in 10,000 dilution. The reason we offer this up is because if you're mildly spicy, let's say sort of 5,000 Scoville heat units, then 1 in 10 will work for you. If you're hotter, then maybe 1 in 100 would work for you. If you're hotter still, 1 in 1000, and if hottest, things like Carolina Reaper powder or Pepper X powders, for example, then you'd be wanting to do a 1 in 10,000 dilution. This is because capsaicin, which gives you this perception of hotness, is actually an organic compound. It's not terribly soluble in buffers. So in order to test chili powder, this chili powder in the end was about 50,000 Scoville heat units. So we actually ended up taking 0.01 grams of it, putting it into a 15 ml tube. So you will need a balance that can measure 0.01 grams is basically 10 milligrams. And then we actually topped it up with chili buffer. And I do have some chili buffer in the back here. But we put 10 milliliters of that. So when you put in 10 milligrams of powder into 10 milliliters of solution, you're essentially doing a 1 in 1000 dilution. So that's how we kind of prepare the sample. Now, something that is sort of unusual for us, we actually left it, when I say unusual, we don't always say this for all sample types, like chili sauce is definitely not, but we actually left it shaking for 24 hours in order to make sure we extracted all the capsaicin. Now, what this extended extraction does is, I even put the model number here, this Grant's Instruments PTR 35. We left that shaking for 24 hours. The reason that we do that is actually because, as I say, capsaicin is an organic molecule. We're trying to get it out of the solid phase, in this particular case a chili powder, and we're trying to get it into the liquid phase. And so we do find it better to leave it shaking. So we did leave it shaking for 24 hours, or I sort of shaking, at least rotating back and forth to make sure it's all mixed. And then we put on 50 microliters of the sample onto the chili sensor, and we were actually able to get a reading. As I say, we did do the 1 in 1,000 dilution, so when using the app, make sure that you tell the app that you did the 1 in 1,000 dilution. Now, we got some results back from this. Now, the thing about FoodSense, the nice thing about FoodSense Generation 4 is it'll give you results very quickly. So we do like to promote the idea that actually you can get fast results. But what we find with chili powder, I think it's unique with the chili powder because it is in this solid state, is we're recommending this 1 in 1,000 dilution. If we test, if we make up a sample and we test it 5 times, we do tend to find that if we immediately try to test it, because we're talking about sort of slurries or suspensions, they tend to be quite heterogeneous. And so we do get results that are a little bit, the relative standard deviation or the dispersion or the precision is not quite what we would like. So for example, we got results here of 42,000, 58,000, 52,000. But that's when we test it after just mixing for 10 minutes. So the average here was 52,000 Scoville heat units and the relative standard deviation was 20%. But we know that people want better precision. I'm actually sometimes wondering how much precision they really need, to be honest with you. But that said, people would like better. But we find with 24 hours, we actually homogenize the whole system. We end up extracting the capsaicin and breaking everything up. And then we actually do get a better relative standard deviation of something like 12%. Considering that we're talking about a natural product and it's not a homogeneous sample, it's actually quite a heterogeneous sample, then that's probably fair enough. So I've just different way of looking at it here. So after 10 minutes, if we did 5 tests, we get we get an average of about 50,000, and we get a relative standard deviation of 20%. If we do it after 24 hours, we actually get a slightly higher average Scoville heat unit, more like 53,000, and with a better relative standard deviation. Because those error bars are actually overlapping, statistically you couldn't actually say that we had necessarily extracted more capsaicin after the 24 hours, but I think your kind of your instinct would tell you that that probably was actually was the case. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration now, nothing super fancy, just because otherwise there's a lot of words, and I haven't really kind of anchored this, let's say, in a lot of reality. So I'm just going to take a much easier sample than a chili powder. This is actually a chili sauce. I'm just going to slightly tilt that because I just want to show you that I'm going to vortex this just super quick. Let me just turn the vortex on. So I'm just vortexing that up, just shaking up a bit. Right, that'll do. And now I will get my 50 microliter pipette. I'll pipette out 50 microliters. What I might first do is actually just set up. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I might just put a name in here. Demo 1, I'll call it. Oh, I've actually ended up spelling it Femo 1, but that'll be easier to spot, so I'll do that. I'll just put the sample on and I will run it. So let's just do that, which I now do. On it goes. This is just a 1 in 10 dilution. It's quite a mild sauce, so let me just go to assay. I'll choose the 1 in 10 dilution option, start measurement, and off it goes. Right. The reason I was bringing that up a little bit was just to kind of anchor what I'm showing you a lot of pictures. So I just wanted to anchor it in some sort of reality that this hardware is I don't want to say is a thing, but it this is the FoodSense Generation 4. It works in conjunction with the app that's installed on my phone. You can get that app on the it's called the Sense It All app. You can find it on Google Play Store, and you can also find it on the Apple App Store. So it's just coming around now. So it's come around with a result of I'll share my screen with you. So this is quite mild. It's just got a score of Scoville heat unit of 1,860 Scoville heat units. I might just show you something super quick on my my laptop is obviously is on line, and what it means is we can, in fact, here it goes. it says here on my phone, it says upload complete. Now that upload complete obviously means something. What it means is I get a result on my phone, but actually the data is actually also gone to the cloud as well. So I can see the time and date. I can actually see the raw signal up here. I can see that result here of 1864.946. So we've got the Scoville unit here, and I've also got all the raw data up here as well. So if you're kind of interested in understanding that raw data part a little bit more, then as I say, we do have a webinar on the 10th of July, and we do one every month. So if you click the link and it's after the 10th of July, don't worry, it will show you the next, it will bring you to the next live webinar. So if you've got any questions of ZP, specifically regarding FoodSense, then don't hesitate to reach out to us. As I say, if you've got a chili powders, we're tending to find that actually they kind of often have a sort of hotness of about 50,000 to 500,000. So I think we're suggesting a 1 in 1,000 dilution, but actually just rocking it overnight just to make sure all that is all homogenized. It seems to be the key to giving you a better relative standard deviation or precision on that recording. Okay, got any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thanks very much.